That is Dr. Frazier. We are here with our sixth, our fifth, our fifth installment of our philosophical discussions on the principles of our organization. And this video is going to discuss a respectful guild system. There's really not much way to sugarcoat it of respect everybody. So what does this mean? It means that one guild is not better than other guild. Just because the resource guild might seem important to everybody because, pays our bills, just as equally the agrarian guild is important to everybody because guess what? There's opportunity to pay the bills there too. All the guilds are as equal on our executive board and all their representatives on the board of directors. One guild member is not better than another guild member. This doesn't mean that, maybe I'm better at teaching, but Mikey's better at bookwork. That's fine. We can be good at our skills, but that doesn't mean that I'm valued more than Mikey is. We have a specialization in knowledge and skills anticipated and expected and actually encouraged. So just because a person has a specialization doesn't mean they're better than everyone else. I have a degree in education, so that makes me a prime candidate to run the Scholars Guild. But that doesn't mean I'm better than somebody else who has the same skill set or is coming into us with a different skill set. Having a position of authority does not automatically mean they're better than their peers or those they serve. That is a part of our steward leadership philosophy. And finally, we all put our pants on one leg at a time, except for, if you don't have, and so respect begins and ends with honest communication and in a civilized manner. Oops, I went the wrong direction. How does it look or differ from other organizations? So anyone who takes a leadership role is already practicing steward leadership, or they will be going through steward leadership. Steward leadership means that we are just custodians of the project or the sub-guild or the guild or whatever it is, whatever position we are filling, we are just the custodian of it, and we're here to lead and guide others who follow in that project. Steward leadership recognizes that we work as a team. And event coordinating, that would be our best illustration of this. For our events, you have your event coordinator that handles everything, but we also have our Merchants Guild who does all the marketing. We have our Resources Guild who makes sure all the bills are paid. We have our Guardians Guild who provides security at the event. We have our Crafters Guild that's always present at all of our events. All of our events are a touch on the Scholars Guild because we have educational portions to them. Our technicians make sure that we've got power and our tents get up and everything else. And our Agrarian Guild likes to make sure that we're feeding our volunteers and our members. So steward leadership also thinks about the long-term goals and the impact their decisions have. That means that if we pursue a grant, and we look at the ones who are just a one-time grant, maybe for construction. Okay, construction, that meets a long-term goal because we'd like to have our own permanent facilities. But that's just one item. And once that one item is done, the impact is over. So if somebody is looking at a operational grant, that grant is going to cover more than 1 year. The impact of that decision means that we will have somebody who can focus on Guilds of Requiem full-time versus part-time or when their schedule allows. Our steward leadership understands the core values and philosophies of the organization they're part of. Before we allow anybody to have a leadership role, with the exception of guild masters, we like to make sure that they understand what Guilds of Requiem is about and what we stand for. Steward leadership makes decisions that are in line with the organizational core values and philosophies. So that means if we're coordinating an event, we need to assure that we're touching upon our 3 components. Our first component is that it's intentional community. Our Ren Fair is an example. People who come and vend at our Ren Fair, people who come and are guests at our Ren Fair, That is a specific intentional community that has already been created by others. Our second one is that, is it educational? We always try to bring in crafters or vendors that can teach things about the Renaissance time period. Is it dancing? Is it how they talk? Is it the hierarchy, how to craft swords, metalsmithing, leathersmithing, that all that. Our third component is, are we providing a community service? By the simple philosophy that we keep all of our events free, yes, we are serving our community, and we're giving, and with our lower vending rates, we're giving people the opportunity to participate in Ren Fair that otherwise would not be able to. You know, finances, that's a really big thing, especially with the way everything's going in the economy. A lot of families can't justify the 2 to 3 hour drive to a Ren Fair, or maybe it's an hour and a half drive to Kerrville, because they're up to 3 weekends now. We're very happy for them. But somebody might not be able to afford to drive there, or once they get there, can they pay the entrance fee for tickets? And then, you know, all the vendors there, they have to worry about, well, I'm paying this amount per space. I need to make sure I'm making that amount, so I need to charge more. Whereas when they're at our events, it's a lower price. So they have a lower threshold of when they have all their cost of goods met. So they're able to give a lower price to the people who are our guests coming to our event. So that's one of the things that we like to keep in mind. Steward leadership. Steward leadership considers the short-term goals while building long-lasting teams. We want to make sure that everybody who is in a leadership position or is a part of any project or guild or sub-guild, that we are creating a harmony, not discord. And finally, steward leadership is contagious to those around them and solidifies a positive attitude to reach organization goals. And that's very, very important to us, because positivity breeds positivity, negativity breeds negativity. So, and then that becomes an not fun place if everything's always negative. So we want to always keep things positive. We can agree and agree to disagree, but when we disagree, let's give some valuable reasons as to why we disagree and what are alternatives. How does this philosophy affect our general membership? Well, a title is given to a person who's willing to take responsibility of a guild, which is our guild master, a sub-guild, assistant guild master, or project leader. All members have a voice in the decision process, with the final decision resting with that person. We ask that they listen to the members that they are serving on what their answer is before they vote. That makes sure that all members have a voice in the decision-making process. Every person, without regard to their position in the guilds, is treated with the same courtesies. I may be president of the organization, but I don't want anybody to treat me different than you would just a regular member that is involved in just one thing. So every person also has a unique and specific qualifications and deserve to be treated with the same regard as anybody else in the guilds. Yes, I teach. Yes, I'm the president and founder of the organization. Yes, I have a doctorate degree, which makes me a doctor. But everybody should treat me the same way that they treat my husband, who's an electrician. They should treat me the same way that they're treating a new member that's in a probationary time period. We all need to be treated equal. And there's a very egalitarian respect to our organization. So once you get done with all the onboarding videos for the philosophies, there is a completion quiz to take, and then it gives you instructions on how to log in and how to create a member profile on the Resources Guild if you have not already, so that you can join in the forum discussions. And please, we want to hear those discussions so that we make sure that everybody is on the same page. We hope that you have a fantastic day and see you at our next onboarding webinar.